Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Welcome to UN Sunan Kalijaga Library Zoom and YouTube channel. I'm Gadis Nurmalita, Library Information Science student of UN Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. And it is a great honor for me to become Master of Ceremony in this event. International Talks Visiting International Librarian on Tuesday, December 14, 2021. Today, we proudly present the International Talks Visiting International Librarians 2021, organized by UN Sunan Kalijaga Library, SLA Asia, and Association of Islamic University Library. This international talks is to provide a platform for exchange of knowledge and skill relevant to information professionals in Asia and worldwide with a global perspective. The program invited 12 well-known librarians from all over the world. They will share about their experience, best practice, about what they do, so that it will give inspiration to our librarians. Ladies and gentlemen, over the next few hours, this meeting will provide the opportunities to discuss, share knowledge, and insight about library and information science in Malaysia. Before we proceed the program today, we would like to express our gratitude to the Honorable Rector of UN Sunan Kalijaga Yogyakarta, Professor Dr. Phil Makin, the Honorable President of SLA Asian Community, Dr. Debal, the Honorable Head of Library Information Science Department of UN Sunan Kalijaga, Dr. Nurdin Laugu, the Honorable Head of UN Sunan Kalijaga Library, and also the President of APPTIS, Ibu Labibah Zain, the Honorable Speaker, Dr. Edzan Nasir, the Honorable Moderator, Ibu Rika Kurniawaty, the Honorable EBSCO, I Group, and Taylor and Francis for sponsoring our program, and also distinguished all participants. Before we go into the main agenda, let's listen to the national anthem of Indonesia, UN Sunan Kalijaga hymn, and APPTIS hymn. Hope to all participants to turn on the video.
Selama masih juga makanan gratis, lingkup makan seringnya.
membangun peradaban, budaya literasi bangsa, wadah partisipasi semua, perguruan tinggi Islam, tempat persatuan pembinaan, pengembangan perpustakaan, membantu menopang dunia, sivitas akademika. Ayo maju, artis jiwaku, dengan kehormatan demi bangsaku. Ayo maju, artis untuk negeri, literasi tercapai, makmur berbudi. Prestasi kita advokasi sebagai jembatan solusi, menyosong derap informasi, artis membangun negeri. Ayo maju, artis jiwaku, dengan kehormatan demi bangsaku. Ayo maju, artis untuk negeri, literasi tercapai, makmur berbudi, makmur berbudi.
Thank you very much. It is now my deep pleasure to introduce the Rector of PM Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. We are pleased Professor Dr. Makin to deliver the first opening remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most merciful, the most benevolent, peace be upon you all. My health and happiness always accompany you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to State Islamic University Sunan Kalijaga. Notwithstanding virtual meeting, it is indeed still meaningful for us at least, and it is our honor to welcome three institutions in this occasion: Sunan Kalijaga Library, SLA Asia, and APPTIS. Welcome 12 speakers from 12 countries. It is our honor to become a host for you, and thank you for your generosity in sharing your knowledge. And welcome 12 moderators from different institutions and country. And on behalf of State Islamic University Sunan Kalijaga, allow me to convey my gratitude to the Taylor and Francis EBSCO and I Group. And I would not forget to mention and always be thankful to Dr. Labibah Zain MLIS, our charismatic and fearless head of Sunan Kalijaga State Islamic University Library, and at the same time she is the President of APPTIS. Thank you, Ibu Labibah, for your dedication, for your love of library and books and also art, because she's my senior in theater. And I would like to welcome at the moment Dr. Debal Sikar, President of SLA Asia. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I would also like to mention Dr. Edzan Nasir, IFLA Asia Oceania, IFLA Asia Oceania. And thank you, Moderator Rika Kurniawaty from Islamic State University Mataram, and also member of APPTIS, and of course our Master of Ceremony, Gadis Nurmalita. It is indeed, we are very proud of you as a student of our library in our campus. And reflecting from what we are encounter today, given this pandemic and so many obstacles to overcome, because we cannot meet directly face to face and directly shake hand, but always using Zoom, so it is kind of challenge. And so is the role of library in our society. Our students, graduate and undergraduates, always connect to our library, particularly during this time, the time of pandemic. They will access online some books, some journals, and other final assignments. And indeed, the role of our library is very significant and very vital for students' life and for scholarship life. And as a scholar, I would be very honest that during these 2 years, it is very hard to do a research based on fieldwork. We have to accept this reality, and it is very hard to add more data to our perspective. However, we should rely on library again. We should rely on documents in the form of PDF or words available in our library. So again, the role of library is indeed very vital in the scholarship. And we wish the pandemic is over, so that in January we will welcome more students in our campus, and again the role of library will increase. I'm sure our students will be very happy to hang around in our library, sightseeing, finding new friends, for girls to meet new boys, for boys to meet pretty girls. The place is always library, to cover up, If you try to meet in a cafe or somewhere, it is very easy to suspect you, and why you come to cafe, you want to meet new friends. But if you come to library, you don't have to say that I will read some books in the library, but at the same time sightseeing, at the same time finding new friends. So this is a library. I still remember long time ago when I was student with Ibu Labibah, the President of APPTIS and the head of our library. We always sleep over in our library, McLennan Library, Makin University. We work very late and sleep in the library, and then we went home in the morning to have breakfast. Or we actually didn't go home because in our apartment nothing is available. So we went to find a nearby restaurant to find good price food. And also long time ago when I was a student at Heidelberg University, from 7 until 9, 7 a.m., 9 p.m. I stay in the library to finish my dissertations. And after that, my career is always in the library because I was fellows in many universities in Singapore, in Germany, in Australia, and I should be in US at the moment, but I have this assignment. I have to stay in Yogyakarta as the rector of this university. Once again, a library play a very crucial role, not only as a place where we can learn, but also when we could meet. We could meet with new friends, we could have nostalgia with old friends. And indeed, library in Yogyakarta is very comfortable place, you know, because outside is very humid and very hot. We come to library with air conditions. It's very nice to sleep in the library, to be very honest. And without further too long and further ado, so many speakers who would like to share their knowledge and their experiences would not take too much time. So please accept my thank. I would be very thankful for this, and I would welcome everybody in this meeting, and I would be very honored and very proud of this meeting, and thank you very much for your participations, particularly the Library of State Islamic University Sunan Kalijaga. Thank you very much. Be happy. Don't forget to eat. No, don't do diet too much. You know, please eat, because during this pandemic you cannot go hungry. I'm sure food's always available. Please do eat. Don't forget, and please do exercise. You know, sports, even walk on foot or you know, swim. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Makin, for the speech. And now it is my deep pleasure to introduce the President of SLA Asia. We are pleased Dr. Debal to deliver the second opening remarks.
Thank you very much. Dear Professor Dr. C.L. Makin, Rector of Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. Dr. Edzan Nasir, Malaysia, member of IFLA Asia Oceania. Zain, head of Sunan Kalijaga Library, President of Sla and member of IFLA Asia Oceania. Rika Kalijaga, Mataram, all librarians of Sunan Kalijaga Library, Faculty of Department of Library and Content Science, Sunan Kalijaga, Professor Nurmalita, my fellow friends, participants, Indonesian library colleagues, and library LIS students. Good afternoon. It is my privilege to be here and welcome you all on behalf of the Asian Community Special Library Association. I am honored. The Asian community is very happy to associate with the Sunan Kalijaga Library and APPTIS to organize this visiting librarian program during the 2021. It has been organized a meeting one day in every month throughout the year 2021. This was an invited talk from experts of different country librarians and information professionals. It goes excellent throughout the year. And the speakers were Jesus Lau from Mexico, Santanu Ganguly from India, Catherine Labibah was from Canada, Nalini Mahajan from USA, Charlie Ingles from Philippines, Ashraf Muhammad from Pakistan, Joseph S. from Kazakhstan, Ismail Durokon from Turkey, Dilara Begum from Bangladesh, Reshma Dongal from Nepal, Christine Makin from Australia, Edzan Nasir, Malaysia. He will be the previous speaker also. The series of the talk are taken with wide range of topics like information skills, information literacy, knowledge management, government librarian, bank librarian, medical librarian, school librarian, modern library management, building studies, movement of peace, SDGs, and so on. We are very honored during the program of the last one for the presence of SLA President Ms. Tara Nure, SLA President Elect Catherine Labibah, previous IFLA President Ms. Catherine Makin, and many more eminent speakers and personalities. We have recently organized 7th International Conference of Asian Special Libraries 2021 in Seoul, Korea, and this ISL 2017 was at Yogyakarta, Indonesia. The Special Library Association is USA-based non-profit international global organization for innovative information professionals and their strategic partners in business, government, academic, and other specialized settings for libraries. SLA promotes and strengthens its members through learning, networking, and community building initiatives, information about the benefits of SLA membership, including reduced registration fees to attend SLA annual conference every year in USA. Asian community is one of the many communities of the SLA organization. The ISL every alternative year in different Asian countries. In the International Library Information Professional Summit is also organized on various contemporary issues of library science, and this program yearly in India by this Asian community. Till now, Asian community has worked under the leadership of 19 presidents from Asia. These include 9 from India, 2 from Japan, 1 each from Hong Kong, Nepal, Pakistan, Philippines, Indonesia, Korea, Singapore in the past year. This shows the diversity of leadership in Asian community. The members of Asian community have been awarded with the prestigious award like Diversity Leadership Development Program, SLA Rising Star Award, Professional Award, Residential Citation Award, Member Achievement Award, SLA Fellow, SLA Hall of Fame, and many more. Library leaders in Asia have received awards and recognition from many other communities like Science and Community, Science and Technology Community, Engineering Community, Business and Finance Community, and PAM Community. These awards are not only giving recognition to the professionals in Asia, but also the opportunity to attend annual conferences in USA and meet professionals from around the world. In June, July, every year we have a SLA annual conference and info expo. I am feeling happy to announce that, like last year, SLA Asian community will be organizing a variety of events at SLA 2022 in Charlotte, NC, USA. And it will be in person because last 2 annual conference was online, virtual. Today was the last in the series of today's series of the Librarian program. Librarian program is Dr. Edzan Nasir, was the Chief Librarian of University Malaya Library and now member of IFLA Asia Oceania. Thank you, Dr. Edzan, for accepting our invitation and hope you share your vast knowledge and experience, which will be very useful to all of us. I also open the forum for submitting the bid for organizing 8 ICO-SL in 2023, which submit if anybody is interested in country's interest. I also would like to thank Ms. Labibah Zain for active participation in FLA Asian community activities and always keep FLA Asia with all her activities. We look forward to working with you in the future too. Thank you, Labibah. And I also thank and admire for her dedication in the work in library and teaching and all professional development. Thanks also due to Rika, Kurniawaty, and thanks for her accepting moderator. And I also thank all the NCLBC participants who contributed making this program lively in the last 1 year and fruitful questions and discussions throughout the year. The program is organized in collaboration of UN Sunan Kalijaga Library, mainly they have the organizer, and Asian community and its state is collaborating with them. Thanks all the library people of UN Sunan Kalijaga Library, all the faculty members, all the students, and all the people those who are engaged with this. Thank you very much. With my special gratitude with all of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Debal for the speech. We now come to our main program, who will be led by our moderator, Ibu Rika Kurniawaty. But before it begins, for all participants that want to get an A certificate, please fill in the attendance form and take a note to the registration key is 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1. I'm gonna repeat it again. The registration key is 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1. Now please allow me to introduce the moderator, Ibu Rika Kurniawaty, Head of UIN Mataram Library since 2014. She's a committee of the Ikatan Pustakawan Indonesia NTB Province for the period 2014 to 2016 and the period from 2016 to 2019, and committee of the APPTIS for the period 2014 to 2017, the period from 2017 to 2020, and the period 2020 to 2023. Also, she's the best librarian of NTB in 2021. And she's the supervisor of the Scientific Literacy Student Activity Unit at UIN Mataram from 2018 till present. Without further ado, I will turn it over to moderator, Ibu Rika Kurniawaty. Please handle this session and time is yours.
Membangun negeri tegak berdiri untuk masa depan, memajukan dan mengembangkan keislaman, Papua dan ke Indonesia. Serukat UIN Sunan Kalijaga, unggul dan terkemuka.
Thank you very much for the time, but Gadis Nurmalita. So, my voice is heard, right? Hello? Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon and thank you for all of my friends who have been here in this Zoom media and YouTube channel. My name is Rika Kurniawaty. I am librarian of State Islamic University in Mataram, West Nusa Tenggara. It is my honor to be trusted as a moderator in this international talk event conducted by State Islamic University Library of Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, coordinating with Asia Special Library Association and Islamic University Libraries Association in Indonesia, and we call it APPTIS or APPTIS. First of all, allow me to send my high appreciation to Honorable Bapak Professor Makin, Rector of State Islamic University Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, Bapak Debal Sikar, President of Asia Special Library Association, and our speaker, Ibu Dr. Edzan Nasir, representative of Asia Oceania International Federation of Library Association. Last but not least, my great honor to Ibu Labibah Zain as the head of State Islamic University of Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. I am very proud of you, Ibu Labibah, because it needs a consistent belief and great effort to maintain unification and integration as a team between your library staff, and in your leadership, you can lead your team to run this international talks event from January to December, and it is my great honor to be part of the 12th International Talks event. I hope this kind of event will continue in various ways so that we can maintain this silaturahim among librarians in many countries. My very high appreciation for you. May God always give you health and happiness so that you can always be our model and idol with your outstanding program in university library. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we have known that library and information science always growing dynamically, mostly because influence of information communication and technology development, but also influence of social culture. And it will be interesting if we can see the development of library and information science in Malaysia, which will be explained by our great speaker, Ibu Dr. Edzan Nasir. But before Ibu Edzan deliver her explanations, I would like to read a little bit introduction of Ibu Edzan Nasir. In 1983, Ibu Edzan is a librarian at University Science Malaysia in Penang. In 1991, Ibu Edzan moved to Kuala Lumpur and became a librarian at University of Malaya. In 1999, Ibu Edzan became a lecturer in Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology in University of Malaya, Kuala Lumpur. In 2007, Ibu Edzan took charge as a chief in Library of University of Malaya, Kuala Lumpur until 2017. And now, Ibu Edzan is having activity as a member of Information Literacy Section in IFLA, also became member of IFLA Asia Oceania Regional Division, and also become one of Pahang State Library Board. So now, I would like to welcome Ibu Edzan Nasir. Ibu Edzan, the time is yours. Please.
Thank you, Ibu Rika. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera, and first and foremost, I would like to express my thanks to the organizers, especially Ibu Labibah. I've known her for a very long time. And it's just too bad that normally every year I would go to UIN to meet up with her or to give a talk or a class, a lecture, but this year, the past few years, I've not been able to do that. But I'm happy that we can still meet virtually. So let me share my screen now. Library and Information Science Education developed in Malaysia. So when I wanted to do this, I had to go and look up for pieces of article and proceedings that were presented throughout the years on this topic. And I think it would be good if somehow Malaysian librarians would get together and finally write a book on this, because I think it's important for us to actually know the origin of our profession, how it started, and where is the direction it's going to go. And I hope that one day Ikatan Pustakawan Indonesia might pick this up and do a similar book for Malaysia, for Indonesia. Yeah, it is good for our students to read about it. So my biodata, Ibu Rika has read it out. So I retired officially. The retirement age in Malaysia is, I'm a civil servant. So the retirement age in Malaysia, you can either retire at 58 or 60, but I opted to retire at 60. So I retired in 2017, and I thought I would be out of the library field. But somehow I got involved with my library association, and I'm now the secretary and member of the IFLA Oceania Regional Division. Ibu Labibah is also a member. Debal, Dr. Debal is our vice chair for this division. And I'm also a member of the IFLA Information Literacy section, and I sit on the Pahang State Library Board. Yeah, there are 14 states in Malaysia, and each state has got a state library, and each state library has a library board. So they have librarians from outside of their particular state to actually sit on the library board. So we can give our views on the progress or the development of the state library at that level, which I thought was good. Yeah, at least we can give our opinion as how the state library should function. But Alhamdulillah, all the state libraries are doing well in Malaysia. Okay, I will start off by, it's going to be short and sweet, hopefully. I'm going to start off by talking about the beginning of the library education in Malaysia. How is it now? And I'll touch a bit on MQA. MQA is the body that actually governs the qualification of all the programs in the universities in Malaysia, and also from foreign universities in Malaysia. And then I will touch a bit on the COVID-19, because the COVID-19 pandemic has somehow impacted how Malaysian libraries and librarians reacted, and are we skilled enough to actually meet the challenges that COVID-19 pandemic brings. So we all moved from physical to online. So the younger generation had a very easy task of moving, because IT is in their blood. But for the older generation, the more senior librarians, they had to take time to actually learn and pick up new skills. Yeah, we are very good with the theory of it all, but when it comes to the practice of it, we were very dependent on our younger librarians who are more adept and who are more comfortable with technology. Then I will try to conclude. Okay. So in the beginning, what happened was that when we look through the literature, Edward Lim is the previous chief librarian of the University of Science in Malaysia. He is now residing in Melbourne. He is retired. He retired to Melbourne. He traced the development of library education in Malaya then. We were known as Malaya before our independence, as early as 1955. Please remember that in 1955, we were still under British rule. So the beginning of library education in Malaya was started off by our British counterparts. Yeah, they were the ones who actually formed the Malayan Library Group, which is a group of librarians who decided to form a group to work with libraries and librarians in Malaysia and Singapore then. At that time, Singapore was still part of us. So this, when Singapore and Malaya broke in 1963, the Malayan Library Group in Malaya became Persatuan Perpustakaan Malaysia. Now it is known as Persatuan Pustakawan Malaysia. So from Perpustakaan, we decided in 1998 to change it to Pustakawan, Librarian. The same as Indonesia. I think Indonesia is Ikatan Pustakawan Indonesia. So we thought that the group should reflect the library and not the, should reflect the librarian, the profession, and not the library. So in 1955, if we go through the documents, we found that there was no formal library education programs then. So PPM, Persatuan Perpustakaan Malaysia, held part-time classes for candidates to prepare for the UK Library Association examination. So if you have got very, very senior librarians who are now retired, you would see that behind their name, they would have the ALA UK, which means that they got their library qualification from the British Associate of the Library Association. They have to sit for an exam. So PPM held all those classes. So the Malaysians then will attend these classes and they will get a certification. And once they are certified in Malaysia, the situation is such that you must have a library science degree or a library science qualification to become a librarian in the civil service. Then in 1965, 10 years later, PPM sent a memorandum to the University of Malaya. Please remember, University of Malaya is the only university in Malaya at that time. And they asked University of Malaya, to actually create a library school. But did not respond. Okay, we have to go through the paperwork at to actually see why did not respond to the request. And then in 1967, a committee was established and they prepared a report on the need for a library education in Malaya. So the committee prepared a report and again they pushed it to the University of Malaya to ask the University of Malaya to actually have a library school. Said no. Okay, we have yet to know the reasons because we need to look at the you have the ALA UK. So you know for sure that these are the people who got their library accreditation by sitting for the British Associate of the Library Association examination. Was it a difficult exam? Yes, because it was following the syllabus that was set for the British libraries. But a number of librarians did get through. Yeah, see, every year we see a number of passes because this is documented in one of the papers written by a colleague. So again, for the establishment of a postgraduate school of librarianship at the University of Malaya. So in 1972, a committee was set up known as the National Library Committee, and they recommended again the establishment of a school at and again said no. Okay, why did PPM felt that we need to have the school in Because is the only university in Malaya at that time, and it was in Kuala Lumpur, the capital city, and they felt that such a program must be hosted by a university. Okay, ITM at that time was not a university yet. It was just an institute that was producing para to actually figure out what was the reason, because we have to remember at that time University of Malaya was set up. The courses that they were running were really professional courses where they have doctors, medical doctors, they have got engineers, they have got what else? They have got architects and all that. So library schools was not really on the front line of whatever they were doing at that time, yeah, because at that time Malaysia just had independence in 1957, and probably we were going to produce graduates who would satisfy the job market required at that time. Okay, so finally in 1972, ITM developed and introduced a new curriculum for a 3-year course leading to the ITM diploma. So ITM revised the curriculum from the British syllabus to a local syllabus, and they introduced the diploma in library science. So now they have got a diploma. Now we are looking at 2021. They have got a diploma, they have got a bachelor, they have got a master's, and they have got a PhD. Only in 1987, yeah, decided to offer the Masters in Library and Information Science program in 1987-88, and it was not held at a library school, but it was held under the Institute of Advanced Studies. But this course only went for 1 year. They only had one batch. I think they had a batch of about 10 students, and the following year it was suspended, and the program was never brought up again. Now, in 1992, the International Islamic University Malaysia or the University Islam Antarabangsa Malaysia introduced their MLIS program, and they had a department. So they have got a master's now and a PhD. In 1994, finally, from the Institute of Advanced Studies, the MLIS program in was transferred to the Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology. Okay, so I joined that particular department in 1999, and I became an academic there to teach the MLIS program. So in 1995, we have got another university, University Kebangsaan Malaysia, or the National University of Malaysia. They introduced the Master in Information Science. This is not a pure library science course, but elements of library science are or were embedded in their curriculum. So in 1996, Selangor had their own university, a private university known as University Selangor. Selangor is, like I said, one of the 14 states in Malaysia. So the state government had their own university, and they introduced the diploma in library science program, and now they have got a diploma and a bachelor program. In 1999, University Science Islam Malaysia, USIM, introduced the Bachelor in Sunnah Studies with Information Management. Okay, this is a program about Sunnah, but embedded with elements of library and information science. So it's a major, minor. Major is Sunnah Studies, minor will be information management. And then finally, in 2021, last year, the MLIS program in was transferred to the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. So today, from the Institute of Advanced Studies in 1987, it moved to the Faculty of Computer Science in 1994, and now it's sitting, I think, rather comfortably at the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Yeah. The reason behind the move, we need to talk to the academics in the particular department to actually ask why did they decide to move the program from a science-based faculty to an arts-based faculty. So probably that was one of the main reasons why it was transferred there. So now what we have is, so we have, like I said, University Industri Selangor. Sorry, they changed name. It is now University Selangor. They changed it. I'm so sorry. So they've got a diploma in library management. They've got a Bachelor of Information Management, Information Science. Yeah. So they've got 2 programs running there. ITM, Institute Technology Mara, is now known as University Technology Mara. it has been upgraded to university. They run the diploma program, they run the bachelor program, they've got a master's and a doctor of philosophy. So this is the only university that has got the complete band from diploma, bachelor, master's, PhD. Okay. Then you have the University of Malaya. They have got the Master of Library Information Science program that is still ongoing, and they are also producing doctor of their PhD program students. So I am a product of the University of Malaya. I did my PhD at the University of Malaya. And then University Islam Antarabangsa Malaysia, they have their Master of Library Information Science program, and theirs is a Doctor of Philosophy in Library and Information Science. So their PhD is not known as PhD, it's known as doctoral degree in Library and Information Science. Okay, so now you have 3 universities offering masters and PhD. You have 2 universities offering undergraduate programs. So bear in mind, this is actually University Selangor. They changed their name. I did not do that. I did not do the change. I will change it later. Okay, so now you have at the University Selangor, the program is based at the Faculty of Communication, Visual Art and Computing. Don't ask me why. We need to talk to the academics to ask. At UITM, they have their own faculty, entire faculty, Faculty of Information Management, and the Library Science program sits under one of the centers at the faculty. So at this faculty, they have got different centers, and one of the center is library management. In University of Malaya, at the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, they have got a Department of Library and Information Science. Yeah. And at University Islam Antarabangsa Malaysia, they have the Kuliah. It sits at the Kuliah or Faculty of Information and Communication Technology, and they have their own department. So at UM and at UIA, they sit under a faculty, but they each have a different department. At UITM, they sit under a faculty and they are under a center. At university, at Unicel, they are at this particular faculty, and I think they go by 3 departments. They've got a communication department, a visual art department, and a computing department. If I'm not mistaken, they are sitting under faculty of under the Department of Communication, but I need to check because when I went to look at their website, it was not tak jelas, it was not clear where the program sits under in that particular faculty. So to become a librarian in the civil service, to become a librarian in the offices of the government of Malaysia, you must have a qualification that has got the word library. This is clearly stated in our job description. So you have a diploma in library science, or you can have a bachelor in library science, or you have a postgraduate diploma in library science, or you have a master's in library science. Okay, so you either have a bachelor in library science from UITM or from Unicel, or like me, you have a bachelor in another subject and you either have a postgraduate diploma in library science or a master's in library science. In my case, my first degree is BSc. I did my BSc in biology and chemistry, and I have a postgraduate diploma in librarianship, which I did at the University of New South Wales on a scholarship. So that only after I got my postgraduate diploma did my post change to a librarian. Previously, I was employed, my post, even though I was doing library job, it was known as a pegawai takbir, administrative officer. So when I got my postgraduate diploma in library science, my job name was changed to librarian. Okay, so that is required if you want to join the civil service as a requirement. So 3 and 4 normally, you either do it locally or you can do it overseas. Yeah, some universities send their librarians overseas with the view of giving their librarians an experience to see what is happening overseas. Yeah, what technology is in place, the teaching methods, how are the library schools run in overseas. So it was common practice for universities to actually send their librarians to UK or US to do their masters in library science. So that was very common. But nowadays, most of them are doing it locally. yeah, because it's cheaper to do locally. And we have got good library schools now. We have got 2 library schools that are offering, 2 universities that are offering postgraduate programs, which are really good. Yep. So library schools in Malaysia, we have got 3 public universities, we have got 1 private. So University Islam Antarabangsa, you have got University Malaya, you have got University Selangor. And the private university is University Selangor, and the other one is University Daun Jimara. I think the most popular would be University Daun Jimara, because their students from diploma, they will go into their degree, and then once they're in their degree, they go out to work, they will come back to do their masters. And then some of them who join academia, because a requirement to be an academic is you must have a PhD, so they join their PhD program. So these are the 4 universities that are running library programs in Malaysia. So the accreditation of programs is done by MQA, the Malaysian Qualification Agency, and they have a standard known as the Program Standards for Information Science. Okay, so all library schools in Malaysia, be it private, be it public, they have to conform to the program standards set by MQA. So all the graduates from the library schools work in various types of libraries. Similarly, like Indonesia, like when I was watching the video before the program, we have the National Library, which is the Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia. We have got state libraries, for example, Pustaka Sarawak. Sarawak is one of the states in Malaysia also. So it's in Borneo. So you have got state libraries. Then we have got rural libraries, public libraries. Public libraries are normally run by our local authorities. This is in Petaling Jaya, where I stay. Then you have got rural libraries. These are libraries in the villages. Yeah, we call them Perpustakaan Desa. So each village would have 1 Perpustakaan Desa. This is one in Kubu Gajah, I think in the state of Perak. We have got academic libraries like University of Malaya. Then you've got special libraries. I pick up Forest Research Institute Malaysia Library because it's one of the oldest special library in Malaysia, set up during the British rule in Malaysia. So this is one of the oldest special library in Malaysia. Forest Frame, we call it the Frame Library, and the other one would be the Rubber Research Institute Library, the 2 very, very old special libraries in Malaysia. And then we have got school resource centers, and we have got school libraries. For school resource centers, we don't have, in Malaysian schools, we do not have, in Malaysian government schools, we do not have a librarian working as a librarian in a school library or a school resource center. Normally, they have a teacher who does teaching a subject, and they are also managing the library, and they are known as Guru Perpustakaan dan Media, or library and media teachers. So the workload of these teachers are reduced, and they manage the library, and all these teachers would have a master's in library and information science, because the Ministry of Education send them to either UiTM or to UM or to UIA to do the MLIS program. Yeah. But if you are looking at private schools, international schools, they have a full-time librarian, and they call their library as school libraries. In the government schools, they are known as school resource centers. Pusat Sumber PSS, Pusat Sumber Sekolah. But in private schools or in international schools, they actually employ fully qualified librarian to manage the school libraries. So that is a different case. So right now there is a movement going on to actually convince the Ministry of Education that we need a full-time qualified librarian to manage the school resource centers. Because the current situation, the COVID-19 pandemic has shown that school resource centers plays a very vital role in providing resources to the teachers when they are trying to teach the students online. Okay. So what is the MQA? Just to touch on the MQA, the website is here if you need to look at it. The MQA is a body that was established on 1st November 2007 when the act was made known. And the main role is to be, they actually maintain or look at the quality of higher education in Malaysia. They make sure that the programs for the diploma, degree, bachelor's degree, master's, and PhD are of quality, and they have certain measures that they look at. And they also monitor, they also monitor the quality of what is being taught at all the universities in Malaysia, private and public, and they accredit. If you meet a certain qualification, a certain mark, then your program will be MQA accredited. Yeah, that means, and they also accredit programs from overseas. Yeah. Okay. So they established a program standards for information science. If you want to look at it, the link is there. So this was done, if I'm not mistaken, they did one in 2008 and they did a revision in 2013. So it's major, so they republished it. And these are the contents. They've got introduction, program in, learning outcomes, curriculum design and delivery, assessment of student learning. They have got student selection, academic staff, educational resources, program monitoring and review, leadership, governance, and administration, and they have got continued quality improvement. So if any university, let's say University A, wants to run a program in information science, then they have to adhere to all the conditions set in here. Okay, it's a very comprehensive public document, and I was once an auditor, program auditor. So whenever a university wants to introduce an information science program, then they will send all their documentation and paperwork to us, and then the auditors, I was once an auditor, so I as the auditor will look through at all their paperwork and documentation to see whether it complies to number 4. Okay, it complies to number 4, the curriculum design and delivery, because they have set how many credit is supposed to go for what courses, etc., etc. So this is a very comprehensive program standard, which I personally find is very useful because it actually tells us what are the qualification or what are the skills that are needed for a Malaysian graduate from a library school. Okay. So they recognize 6 subdisciplines for information science. They've got information management, library science, records management, archival science, knowledge management, and museum and heritage information management. So I was an auditor for library science. So these are the common core of information science that they must see in your program. Okay, epistemology, information management and organization, information knowledge organization, information services, information preservation and conservation, information knowledge technologies, information security, legal aspect, ethics and professionalism, information entrepreneurship. So depending on which subdiscipline your program is in, so you need to make sure that your courses, all your subjects address all these 12 core in whatever program you are doing, and you slant it. So like for this one, we would slant it to library science. So information management and organization in library science. So this would be our cataloging, our indexing, our thesauri, etc., etc. Okay, so this is how they do it. It's very clearly written out in the program standards. So the subject coverage for information science centers on these 3 elements, and for library science, they use this is something that we need, Malaysian librarians need to look at again, and probably go back to MQA to look to, for them to look again at the standards, because they were using, the team that was producing the program standards were looking at the ALA standards manual in 2003. So they revised the standards in 2013. So probably because the program standard is revised or devised or written by a group of library professionals, yeah, academics and practicing librarians. So they drew out that particular program manual. So probably this is the definition that they use. They are following the AIA Standards Manual 2003. So, so that is where library and information science education stands as it is in Malaysia. Yeah, we began in 1955. We tried fighting to get a university or a school at University of Malaya, but it did not succeed. But somehow we managed to get ITM, or now UITM, to actually run the diploma program. Now we have got 3 public universities and 1 private university running undergraduate and postgraduate programs in library and information science. So I cannot not talk about Malaysian libraries without touching on the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah. In January 2020, 25th January 2020, the first case of coronavirus was reported in Malaysia, and 18 March 2020, the entire country was placed under the movement control order. Yeah, we had various MCOs, we have got various SOPs, and all libraries closed. Okay. And only in 16 June 2021, our then Prime Minister, we now have got a new Prime Minister, this was our previous Prime Minister, Malaysia moved into the National Recovery Plan, and then we have got 4 phases. Now they don't call it MCO anymore, they call it the NRP. So it's NRP phase 1, NRP phase 2, NRP phase 3, NRP phase 4. So, and it is based on the state. Okay, so we have got 14 states, and each state will have their own NRP. So for example, I am in the state of Selangor, where my house is. So state of Selangor is now in NRP 4, which means that libraries can now open in phase 3 and 4. So right now, almost all the states in Malaysia are in phase 4. Okay, so all the libraries have started to open. So how did Malaysian libraries and librarians react? There was a huge shift from physical to online. Okay, everything, if you have already had a lot of your surface, we have got 2 universities, OUM, Open University Malaysia, and Asia E-Learning University. Both universities run their courses online. So they do not have, people don't, they do not have a need for students to go to their physical library. So they were at an advantage during the COVID-19 pandemic because almost all their services were online. Okay. But for other universities, academic libraries, other libraries, we were like hybrid. Yeah, we have online and we have got face-to-face. So our libraries and our librarians have to quickly change their mindset and moved everything that they could into the online environment. See, so in March until about May, we saw a huge amount of online activities happening in social media. Okay, people were using, the most popular was Facebook, and then you have got Twitter, you have got WhatsApp, you have got Telegram. So these were being used to relay information to our users because users were all staying at home. Librarians were also staying at home, but they have access to their computers and their work from the office. They have access to all those. So they were able to relay, do a lot of infographics. They recorded a lot of YouTube videos, and they had a lot of webinars. So you can see that librarians were very adept. Even when I look at Indonesia, when I look at the Indonesian librarians, because in Malaysia, we were looking at our neighbors. Yeah, like for me, I was looking, what is Singapore doing? What is Thailand doing? What is Philippines doing? What is Indonesia doing? So that we can sort of copy. Yeah, copy. So we look at Indonesia, oh, Indonesia is doing this. Philippines is doing this. So we sit and say, okay, let's do what this library is doing. It's really good. You see the response is good. So it's more of us looking at what our neighbors are doing and trying to adapt. Okay. And I know for sure that we were always in contact with librarians in other countries within Southeast Asia to actually ask you people. We actually contacted our colleagues in Indonesia, in Singapore, to say, hey, look, how do you do this? Because we are having a problem with this. We cannot get through to our users because our amount of information resources is so limited. We did not have time to digitize. So they give us advice. So we follow. So we were lucky because we had a very strong and good network within Southeast Asian countries, yeah, and we are very thankful for our neighbors. So were Malaysians ready for the COVID-19 pandemic? Yes and no. If you have the skills and you have the competencies, of course you are ready. If you do not have the skills, you are not. See? So the skills and competencies required would be your IT, your communication, your writing, and your experience. If you are young and very IT savvy, you have got no problem. An OD like me, I had to really learn how to use Zoom, how to use WebEx, how to use Google Meet, how to use all the communication technology, because I was only using Zoom. IFLA was using Zoom. So I was very comfortable with Zoom. So during Zoom, we just meet. There was no sharing of slides. So I had to learn a lot. But the younger ones were good because they sort of helped us along. So it was a combination of young and old helping each other to actually overcome. So I noticed that the younger ones are very IT savvy, and you must also have the knowledge of how to actually, now all your resources are online. Now, how do you convey the use of your resources? So this needs your writing, your communication skills. Like right now, I'm speaking to you. You can only see my face. So I must learn to pronounce properly, to look at the camera properly, to make sure my gestures are okay, to make sure my spelling on my slides are okay. So even now I can see a mistake kan. After communication, there must be a comma. I went and put a full stop. So these are things that we need to learn. Okay. And services and facilities wise, we were ready because most of us were doing hybrid. Half of our collection is online, half of collection is offline. So we need to quickly switch. So nowadays, what libraries are doing now that we are open, they are digitizing whatever local collection that they have that is out of copyright so that they can have it online. Okay. So how will all this affect the library information education, library information science in education in Malaysia? It has an effect because we realize that just a quick survey, yeah. The UITM MLS course only has got one IT related core course. It's digital libraries and multimedia application. Then when we look at the International Islamic University, the core course, they only have got one, application of IT in library. Elective courses, they have got database design and development, digital library, and web-based information design and system. So they've got one core course, they've got 3 elective courses, okay, related to IT. has only got one, technologies, as their core course, and they have got digital humanities, digital library, and web publishing, which the student can pick up as elective courses. Okay. So, is there a gap between the curriculum and the librarian skills needed now? Now we see that we need IT skills, we need communication skills, very, very bad. We need, so we need to actually look, library schools need to look at the curriculum, okay? Is there a gap? If there is a gap, what do you do with it? So my suggestion would be to review the curriculum. You need to review your entire LIS curriculum, and then our librarians need to reskill, upskill, unlearn, learn, relearn. These are words that we commonly read during the entire pandemic. If you are reading about an article about how libraries survived during the pandemic, it's always reskill, upskill, unlearn, learn, relearn. And now we find out that a number of skills are now mandatory. Okay. A librarian must be familiar with all the communication platforms, Zoom, WebEx, Google Meet. Okay, you must be familiar and you know how to deal with it. You have got StreamYard, etc. And we must also be familiar with the various social media platforms. IG, Instagram, you have got your Twitter, you have got your Facebook, and you have got your Telegram, you have got your WhatsApp. And then you will also not only be familiar with the platform, you also need to analyze the data. Okay, you look at the data and you see, okay, for this particular post, we got so many hits, we got so many views. Why? Okay, our audience like this kind of presentation, so we gear our presentation towards that. So you need to analyze the data to actually find out how come this particular infographic that you push out, the likes and the views are very low. So why? So you need to analyze that. and com skills. Yeah, you need to be able to speak in both the national and English language. That means in Malaysia it's Bahasa Malaysia or Bahasa Melayu. In Indonesia it's Bahasa Indonesia, and also English. Yeah, because we are now communicating across the borders. We are talking like now. We are presenting to our audience in probably in New Zealand, in Australia, wherever. So we need to be able to be good at the language. If you cannot be good at the language, never mind, try. People understand, yeah, like people understand if you are not well versed with the language. It's a learning process. And we also need to improve our writing skills because we are writing infographic requires writing. When you are putting up an e-poster, it requires you to write. When you are giving instructions, you need to write. So you need to be very comfortable with writing. We need to be on top of technology, and you also have to read the literature. I keep on telling my Malaysians librarian there are a lot being written on what other countries are doing during pandemic. Please read, please read, please read, so that we can copy. We can copy what they are doing. Okay. Nothing is we can copy. We're allowed to copy because we are allowed to adopt and adapt, and we give credit to the people we are copying. Let's say you have a program and you say, okay, we use the template for this program is we took it from UIN Suka because we thought that UIN has got a very good program that we can use to actually do the same program in our country. You give credit to the institution that has run the program. And then you also need to strengthen your existing skills, and you need to upgrade your current skills, and you need to acquire new skills. So personally, I feel library schools need to really review their curriculum and meet the changes of the needs of librarians for a new normal at all levels, diploma, bachelor and masters. PhD not so much because PhD is is based on a single research. Yeah. Okay. So in conclusion, library and information science education in Malaysia began as early as 1955 when we were still under British rule. Okay, we gained our independence in 1957, but we still have British librarians who were still in our system. And efforts were made by the local library association to actually push for a library school in Malaysia as early as 1955. And all our library programs, be it private or public, are governed by standards set by the MQA. Why we need the standards? So that we are giving quality programs to our students. Okay, and the COVID-19 pandemic has changed ways in how libraries function, and it has also tested how prepared are we to face another pandemic if it happens. Okay. And for that, LIS education has to review their curriculum at all levels, see what is good, what is bad, what needs to change. And I think the focus, the attention or the focus on IT should be given more weightage. Okay. And we also have to adapt and make necessary changes to the curriculum. So to all new and existing librarians, see no spelling silap tu, to all new and existing librarians, I request that all of you, be Indonesian or Malaysian or librarians everywhere, to continue acquiring knowledge and skills. Yeah, your library, the library profession is a profession that is forever moving forward. As technology moves, improves, our profession has to keep up. Okay, from book now we are going digital, from talking face to face now we are giving classes via Zoom. So we need to continuously acquire the knowledge and the skills. Now if anybody wants to do a comparative study of development of LIS education in Malaysia and Indonesia, these are the papers that has been presented. Like I said, there is no one book that talks about the development of library science education in Malaysia. And I think it's high time that probably Malaysia needs to write. And I'm not sure about Indonesia, but I would also like to recommend Indonesia. If you do not have one book that talks about development of library science education in Singapore, I think we need to start doing it so that our juniors, yeah, can learn about the fight that went on, or the fight that our seniors had to undergo to make sure that the library science education is alive in our country. Okay, so thank you. That is my email. If you need any, you need to contact me, you need to get papers, you need my views, please feel free to contact me. Thank you, Ibu Rika. I hand it over to you now.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Edzan Cik Nasir. Well, it is very interesting information for us to know about the development of library and information science, especially in education in Malaysia, in your presentation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we continue. Okay, there is a question in YouTube channel, Ibu Edzan. Is there any level on librarian in Malaysia like in Indonesia? There are pustakawan terampil and pustakawan ahli. The level in librarian in Malaysia.
Ibu Rika, what's the difference between pustakawan terampil dan pustakawan ahli?
Pustakawan terampil, we have be official from, we graduated from school, from diploma degree. But pustakawan ahli, we graduated from bachelor, sarjana.
Okay.
Yes.
In Malaysia, if you are going, if we are we are talking about civil service, yeah, in Malaysia, we call it scheme, yeah. Kita panggilnya scheme. We have got a library scheme.
Library scheme.
Library scheme, yeah. So pejawatan, library scheme. So if in Malaysia, if you are a librarian, our scheme is scheme S. We are put under the social services scheme. So our scheme starts with S, yeah. So S27, they go by numbers, yeah. S27 is a person with a diploma. So if the government agency advertise for a post that says we need an S27, then the qualification would be Diploma Library and Information Science. Okay, so S27 is penolong pustakawan, okay? Assistant librarian. So in Malaysia, if you're talking about civil service, to be known as a pustakawan or librarian in Malaysia, the word library can be library management, can be library science. The word library must appear in your qualification. So S27 is diploma. Okay. And then this S27, they can be promoted. Okay. You enter at S27, then you can be promoted to S32, S36. So with each promotion, there is an increase in your salary. Now, a degree student enters as S41. S social 41. So S41, yeah. So S27 is the entry point for diploma. S41 is entry point for degree. If you have a master's, okay, you also enter as S41, but you will be given a higher salary when you take up the job. So kalau contohnya, for example, S41, T itu is tahun, T1, that means you dapat, katalah ya, just for example, you get 1,000 ringgit. So that is for a person with a degree. If you have a master's and you enter at S41, they might give you T10, which means your salary can be 3,000 or 4,000. I do not know. I do not know what's the range.
The degree of salary. Degree of salary.
So S41 you can enter with a bachelor's degree in library science or a master's in library science. But the tahun tu, the amount of salary you get will differ. Then from there on, it's you get naik pangkat. Kenaikan pangkat is S44, S48, S52, S54. So those are the grades that we get. Okay. Normally 44, 48, 52 and 54 is kenaikan pangkat. Kenaikan pangkat. Normally when they have all this advertisement is for promotion of all those from S41. They go up slowly.
Okay.
So the highest the highest grade for a librarian, we call it JUSA. JUSA, JUSA, JUSA.
Jusa.
JUSA,
J-
JUSA
S-
C,
okay.
JUSA B, JUSA
Okay.
D. These are special grades. So in Malaysia, only 5 chief librarians
Wow.
have got JUSA C. That will be the chief librarian of UM, University Sains Malaysia, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, Universiti Putra Malaysia, and University Islam. I think 5, only 5. The government only gave 5 chief librarians of public universities JUSA C.
The Jusa must be a chief librarian.
Yes,
Edzan.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So the
Okay.
director of the National Library of Malaysia is JUSA B. It's a higher grade. So the highest grade is JUSA A. Nobody has got JUSA A. So we have only got JUSA B and JUSA C. So as a librarian, yes, we have the leveling. So diploma, you go at S27 and then you naik grade. And then for degree and masters is S41, 44, 48, 52, 54, and JUSA CBA.
Okay.
JUSA C is the same as a professor. We have got Professor C, Professor B, Professor A. So the salary scale is similar. So all of us has been fighting so that all the chief librarians of public universities get JUSA C, but they have to look at the condition, the age of the library, the services, how old is the library, how big is the library, what kind of client they are servicing. So we think that is fair. You cannot have a young university with 10 years of survival of 10 years of existence compared to, for example, University Malaya that has been in existence since 1959. Okay, so they do that comparison. So, but once a university has matured, then the government agency responsible for all these government services and salary and all that, they will look and they will review. They will review and see, okay, now this university, the chief librarian can be given JUSA C. This university, okay, because it's a very sort of elite position to be in JUSA because JUSA is within Malaysian government civil service. It's known as a special skill.
Special skill.
Yeah, it's a special skill, and not every department would be able to have this special skill happening to them. Yeah, they have to look at the quantum and the size of the institution. So I hope that answers the question. Yeah, we do have leveling, we do have scaling, but that is for civil service. But private libraries, they also sometimes tend to follow the government, or otherwise there will be such a big gap and people will be running to work in private organization instead of the government service. So the private organization that has got libraries, they follow similar. They might berubah, might differ a bit, but it's similar. It's exactly similar. Because as Persatuan Pustakawan Malaysia, we talk to our members to say that please do not make it so different. In such a way that those who are working in private sector get so much money, get so much privileges when compared to those working in government service. It should be similar. You can have differences, but not such a big gap in terms of wages, and in terms, you can give other perks to them, yeah, but not in terms of wages. We do not want such a huge gap, for fear that people might not want to work with the civil service. They might go to the private sector because the perks are much higher than the public service.
Okay, we got your point, Dr. Edzan. So the answer is there is the stage of a librarian in your country too, more or less like Indonesia. Mrs. Labibah has raised hand. We give your the time for you to ask for Mrs. Labibah. Yeah.
Yeah. Ya, no problem. Jadi para peserta bisa bertanya dengan menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Bu Edzan bisa bahasa Indonesia. Oke. Yeah, I have two questions actually. First, as you know that American Library Association has a big power. They are doing the accreditation for LIS in the United States. What is the role of Malaysian Librarian Association? Do they have role in doing accreditation for LIS program in Malaysia?
Okay, like I said, remember when I was talking about the program standards for information science? A number of us were invited. Actually, the entire program was done, written out by a group of us who were part of the team. Two, we are also invited to sit on the various curriculum boards, like I said, we have 4 universities right now. So a member of the Library Association will also be invited to be a panel member or on the board of curriculum review.
Okay.
So we are invited to review the curriculum as well. And also, like I said, we are also invited to be an auditor. Like I was invited to be an auditor for the library science research. So like I said, every time a new a university wants to run a library science program, then we have to prepare all this documentation so that we invite members of PPM, the most senior members of PPM to actually become auditors.
Oh, okay.
That's the role that we play, because we also want to make sure that we safeguard the profession. We do not want something that is so rigid that our members will have difficulties, or our librarians will have difficulties trying to conform to the requirements. We cannot be so rigid. So they normally, NPM will invite members, senior members, the most senior members of PPM, to actually sit on the various committees to actually and discuss and ask for our opinions. So we are not ignoring the system. We have contributed.
Okay, thank you so much. I think Pak Nurdin already raised hands too. Yeah, I have to give opportunity to other people. Okay, thank you so much, Bu Edzan. Thank you, Rika.
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Labibah. Bapak Nurdin Lalu, please, you raise your hand. The time is yours.
Bapak kena unmute, Pak.
Bapak.
Oh ya.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, moderator, Bu Rika, and nice to meet you, Dr. Edzan.
Ya, lama tak ketemu ya, Pak.
Yeah, lama tak ketemu. How are you? Fine.
Alhamdulillah, I'm okay.
Alhamdulillah, that's fine. Your presentation, I think, is very important for us, yeah. Especially now, you know, we in Indonesia we still have a sort of hot debate about epistemology of library science and library science and information science, yeah. Because you know, both sciences are different, yeah. On the other side, and in one side, but on the other side, on the other side, tend to be what is uniform. I mean, try to find the similarity between the sciences. Yeah. So I think if we are going to see the history of the concepts, yeah, the sciences from the beginnings were already debated, yeah, between scholars about that. Yeah. But my question is only what is going to know how Malaysians library programs respond such debates. Is it what is, because you know, especially library science, information science, yeah, we what is initially believed that the translation of the names in bahasa, ya, ilmu perpustakaan dan informasi, ya. But later, ya, some colleagues, ya, what is translated into library information science. So it seems that library is a library, yeah, because they translated library, perpustakaan, and then information science, science informasi. So it seems that library is not science. But if you are going to trace from the history, is, you know, the library science is the first what is concept established, what is organizing the collection, the books and the data, etc. So just, I mean, only what is going to know a bit about this kind of discussions or issue in Malaysia. What your response?
When Bapak is talking about this, Ibu Labibah, I just remembered the presenter from Germany, was it, in Iconics? Yeah, she was talking about, she was talking about this field. Okay, a difficult question to answer, really, because I was trying to trace when we in 1955 we were going for library school. We were going for library education. The component information science was never in any of the papers that was written. The idea of information science came much later in the 1980s, and when they decided to place the program under the I'm talking about the context of University of Malaya. When they wanted to place the program in the Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, they immediately placed the library program under the Department of Information Science. So when it was placed under the Information Science Department, they automatically changed the name from Masters of Library Science into Masters of Library and Information Science. Okay, I was involved in the process. The thinking that went on amongst the information technologists and the computer scientists at that time was that information is the big picture and library science is a component of information science. So when I was asked to present the paper to the university management on this, on the change of name. There was a change of name, then they wanted to change it to information studies. Okay. They wanted to have another department of, they wanted to take out the MLIS program from the Department of Information Science, and they wanted to put it into another department known as the Department of Information Studies. So when I was asked to present the paper, the management of the university at that time did not agree. They still felt that library science is a much important field in information science, because library science is talking about information and how information is being captured, how information is being stored, how information is being re-represented, how information is being disseminated. So they felt that library science must always sit together with information science. We tried our best to we wanted just Masters of Library Science, but they say no, it has to be Masters of Library and Information Science. So now this year, after so many years of, I do not know, of back and forth, probably Prof. Abriza would be able to explain this further if Papa Nordin talked to her. The department moved to the Faculty of Social Science and Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. I was a bit sad because we saw that thing grow under computer science. It moved to an arts-based faculty. But again, there was no push or no need to actually drop the name, the term information science. Because personally, I think information science and library science are married together. It's very interconnected. I do not know who sits on top. I would say library science sits on top. Information science is part of library science, but other proponents of information science said library science is just a branch of information science. So probably Bapak boleh tulis paper kot on this one, the argument against this. Because I think the presenter in Iconics did talk about the emergence of in iSchools, right? The disappear. She was talking about the emergence of information schools and the disappearance of library schools. She was saying that in US now, there are more information schools than library schools, and the library science program sits under the information school. So she says that she foresee and she fears the disappearance of pure library schools and the emergence of info schools. So if you take UITM as a point, as an example, ITM dulu, a long time ago, it was Department of Library Science. Library saya rasanya, Jabatan Perpustakaan. But now they have completely transformed and they put it under Faculty of Information Management. They escaped using the word science because under their program, they have got resource center management, they've got a lot of other components with the library because they've got library management. They don't call it library science, they call it library management. So they are being safe when they did not change it to information science, they changed to Faculty of Information Management. That particular school went through 4 or 5 name changes before they decided to do Faculty of Information Management. But they started out as School of Library Science. So if you go to their website, they did tell the story of the name change. I was reading it. So it's interesting. I really cannot address I cannot really answer fully the question because I'm still a proponent of thinking that the two must come together. It cannot be separated. And we always say kan, kita selalu kata sains perpustakaan dan maklumat. It's never sains maklumat dan perpustakaan. It's always library and information science. Somebody wanted to change it to Masters in Information and Library Science, but everybody said no, it is library first, then the information science. So the name itself shows you that library science is the parent, info science is one of the branch, but it's debatable. Other people say it's otherwise. So probably Ibu Labibah can have a seminar on this one. And we can have a seminar and an argument and see library science and information science, which comes first, the egg or the chicken? So that is what I can give you, Pak Nordin. I'm also not really well versed in this particular area, but in UM we did try to go through so many changes, but finally the faculty, the members of the department decided that it's best if they sit at the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences because they will be conforming to the KPI of the arts. Because when they were sitting at Faculty of Computer Science, they had to conform to the KPIs of the science base, which is very difficult. Publication in Tier 1, publication in Tier 2, and etc., etc., etc. So, but then when they moved to the Department of for the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, the KPIs are a bit different from computer science, because when we sat in computer science, kaki kita di dua bidang, If we write about digital libraries, technical things, etc., we are conforming to the science part of it. Okay, but when we are talking about user study, behavior, etc., now we are conforming to the humanities, social science of it. So as a library science person, my leg is into sectors. Either kalau macam Prof Abriza, she's technical, so she goes scientometrics, etc. So she is more towards technology. With me is user behavior, information literacy, journal publication. So mine is more towards the social sciences and humanities. So ada sikit perbezaan di situ Pak. I hope that sorts of answer. Tapi Ibu Labibah seriously, do organize a seminar. Information science or library science, egg and chicken, etc., etc. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Sorry,
Edzan.
I hope that answers your question.
So I got your insight. I mean your perspective.
Yeah. Pak Nurdin, is there a book about development of library science education in Indonesia?
Yeah. So the what is library science and information science become what is now competing. Yeah. Because what is the elite of the what is library programs institutions, not institutions, what is organizations now is what is tend to be more information science. So that's why they have a power to what is to approach the government to what is to use their terms to become a standard for library information science. But now I what is as far as my how to say my I mean as far as my understanding when I saw their what is their
argument
movements, their movement, that it seems to me that when they focus on the information science, they have no a powerful alliance to library, because they think that our alumni want to work not only for library but also for any institution.
Okay.
So when we are talking about library focus, because you know library we have 100, even what is 1,000, 10,000 1,000. We have tens of thousands libraries, and we need to we need to a variety of effort to to develop the library using our alumni. But if we do not have how to say pemihakan how to say pemihakan to the libraries, so who wants to have a pemihakan terhadap perpustakaan? So because they believe that the alumni of information science does not need to only work in the library, so they can work in industry and whatever. So if we don't have a sort of effort to to help to advocate the library, so the people who don't have educational background in library science will will enter the library.
Yes.
When they enter the library, what happens? So the they don't understand deeply about how to manage, how to lead the library to become a good library. So and my prediction, if this happens, then finally the library will disruptive, because the people don't want anymore the library, because they feel that library do not have anything to give the society. Why? Because the people who responsible in the library are not qualified. This is my temporary perspective when I see the movements.
In Malaysia, kita beruntung juga. We are lucky because our National Library, Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia, is the so-called keeper, adalah pemegang jawatan, is the pemegang for the scheme S. Like I said, S is for the scheme for librarians. So the National Library is the keeper for the scheme S. That means they look after the scheme. So whenever the government has meetings about the scheme, they will invite the people from the National Library
Yeah.
They will invite people from the library schools, and they will invite people from the library association.
Yeah.
So these three entities is very strong in advocating that to be a librarian in a Malaysian civil service, your qualification must have the word perpustakaan.
Great.
A lot of people has been trying to say why, but this three entity is very, very strong in telling the government, no, you must put the word library, or the profession will be taken over by people who are not qualified to understand what the work of a library is all about. Fine, you can have a computer scientist, but does the person knows about whatever lah, cataloging, processing, whatever. Or they can say, everybody tells me that, oh, cataloging too you can learn. No, go ahead and learn and then tell me whether you can do it or not. Cataloging is a process that has to be taught at the library school. You cannot learn on the job and pick up, because there is a science to it, there is a history to it, there's a basic to it that you have to understand. So we are very strong in advocating the government in Malaysia civil service. The agency that governs our profession is Suruhanjaya Perkhidmatan Awam, SPA. So every time people tell SPA, change the name of the library, then these three entities, SPA will call these three entities and they will discuss with us. And the National Library has always been strong in saying that no, a person who works in the library must have the word library in their qualification. So Alhamdulillah, so far we are okay. Okay, but we also have we have got private institution that call their library knowledge manager. They have used that term kan. But then but at the end of the day, they are the knowledge manager. All the person working under them are all qualified librarians with library degrees. So you cannot say that you can simply put anyone in the library and the library can run. I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Bapak Nurdin.
Thank you, moderator.
Okay. Yes. As the time keep running, ladies and gentlemen, when we still have more questions in chat room from Anissa, as you mentioned, Ibu Edzan, before the MLIS program in Malaysia was transferred from department to others, for example, Department of Library and Information Science to Computer Science, and then to Faculty of Art. What the impact of this change to the content of curriculum?
Because initially when it was under the Institute of Advanced Studies, we did not have qualified librarians who were teaching. Okay, most of the lecturers, when the program was at the Institute of Advanced Studies, those who were lecturing were all people from the library. They were working part-time to lecture. So when the library moved to the Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, then they started employing lecturers. One of the requirement when the government approved the program for MLIS at the Faculty of Computer Science and IT, and it is until now, it has not changed. One of the conditions stipulated by the ministry at that time was that at least 2 of the lecturers teaching in the MLIS program must be a librarian with 10 years of working experience as a librarian. Okay. So with that, we had Prof Zainab Awanga, who was a librarian. She went over. Then there was Dr. Diljit, who was a librarian, who went over. Then there was myself. There was Prof Abriza. 4 of us then were, and Mr. Teh Kang Hai. 5 of us were actually librarians. Yeah. And within the curriculum at the Faculty of Computer Science, we put in elements like digital library, we put elements like web publishing. Those are all taught by the lecturers from the computer science faculty itself, because at that time we were not very adept at doing those things. So whatever technology related courses, we have got library technology courses. All those courses that were related to technology were all taught by the IT and computer science lecturers. So the pure librarians who were working there, we were teaching cataloging, we were teaching information sources and services, we were teaching reference services, etc., etc. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ibu Edzan. Well, for after your answering, I think the time is up.
5 o'clock.
Question and for this discussion session. So I would like to say thank you very much for your sharing today, Ibu Edzan. I definitely sure that your knowledge and your experience in library and information science will definitely will be our enrichment in for our session today, for our talking today. So because the time is up, I would like to give the time back to Master of Ceremony, Mbak Gadis Nurmalita. And for me, I would ask great apologize for all mistakes, and akhirul kalam, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Membangun negeri tegak berdiri untuk masa depan, memadukan dan mengembangkan keislaman, keilmuan dan keindonesiaan. Serukan UIN, Sunan Kalijaga, unggul dan terkemuka.
Thank you very much, Ibu Rika Kurniawaty, for handling this session. And also, thank you very much for our speaker, Dr. Edzan Nasir, for delivering informative and interesting talk about library and information science in Malaysia. Last but not least, we invite Ibu Labibah Zain as the head of UIN Sunan Kalijaga Library and President of APPTIS to deliver the vote of thanks. Please, Ibu Labibah Zain, time is yours.
Wabarakatuh. Honorable Bapak Rector of UIN Sunan Kalijaga Yogyakarta, Professor Dr. Pil Makin, who give all support to this event. President SLA Special Library Association Asian Chapter Dr. Debal, the speaker Ibu Dr. Edzan Nasir from Malaysia. I know you are very busy, but thank you very much. You are with us here right now. The moderator Rika, Ibu Rika Kurniawaty, head of UIN Mataram, coordinator of Research Department of APPTIS, UIN Sunan Kalijaga Library Team, SLA Asia members team, APPTIS members, and all participants. Good afternoon, everyone. Greeting from Yogyakarta, Indonesia. I'm Labibah Zain, the head of UIN Sunan Kalijaga Library, also president of APPTIS, Association of Islamic University Library Indonesia. I would like to congratulate UIN Sunan Kalijaga Library Yogyakarta in collaboration with SLA Asia and APPTIS for organizing 12 international talk in the form of international visiting librarians from 12 countries, including Mexico, Canada, India, Philippines, Kazakhstan, United States, Pakistan, Turkey, Nepal, South Korea, and Malaysia, covering topic on media literacy, knowledge management, library management, government library, bank library, medical library, school library, reading interest, human library, digital library, information literacy, and LIS education. We learn a lot how people from abroad are dealing with those themes. And we are going to implement them, what is necessary to be implemented. Next year, inshallah, we are going to have another series to move forward so that the practice of library in Indonesia and in Asia will be better and better, and a library can help people to increase their life quality in peaceful and comfortable environments. The international talk, I believe, has inspired a lot of associations, libraries, especially in Indonesia, to do the similar thing that can be implemented in their service to the community. This wonderful international talk is the product of work hard of UIN Sunan Kalijaga Library Team, SLA Asia Community, and APPTIS. It involves a lot of people, institutions, and the representative of the countries. In this opportunity, allow me to express my thankful to Bapak Rector of UIN Sunan Kalijaga Yogyakarta, Professor Dr. Phil Makin, who give all support to the library. The sponsor, iGroup, EBSCO, and Francis and Taylor, who make this event happen. The President of SLA, the President of SLA Asia and teams, UIN Sunan Kalijaga Library Team, including President Tara Murray, President of SLA, Dr. Debal, President of SLA Asia, Emma Davidson, Dr. PK Zain, Dr. Parvin Babar, Dr. Nabi Hasan, Dr. Meda Joshi, Dr. Meda Joshi, Dr. Musu O, Husnul Khotimah, Ida Nur Aini Hadna, Sri Astuti, Wahyani, Sri Wahyani, Sri Lestari, who are always here with us to support this event. Sorry for the inconvenience. And also I would like to thanks to all speakers, Professor Jesus Lau, Catherine, Dr. Santanu Ganguly, Professor Nalini Mahjan, Shirley Ingles Cruz, Joseph Yap, Dr. Dilara Begam, Dr. Arsyad Mahmud, Miss Ais Durokan, Miss Resma Dangol, Dr. Heran Su, and Dr. Edzan Nasir. And I would like also to thank to all moderator, Dr. Imas, April Manabat, Ulfah Andayani, Ismiatin, Isrowianti, Anissa Listiana, Fikru Mafar, Dr. Nurdin Laugu, Marwiyah, Torik Tri Prabowo, and Ibu Rika. The MCs, Ismiatin, Asri Yuna, Ani Nur Azizah, Anissa Rahayu, Ilma Hanum, Nur Holisoh, Ananda Putri, and Gadis Nurmalita. And also the sign language interpreter, Miss Ragil from Disability Center Service of UIN Sunan Kalijaga Yogyakarta, Triadi Nugraha for the video makers along with UIN Sunan Kalijaga LIS diploma student, EIN Kudus Library for the APPTIS video and hymns, LIS of UIN Sunan Kalijaga Yogyakarta, the committee board who works behind the scene. I repeat, the committee board who work behind the scene, Husnul Khotimah, Sri Astuti, Ida Nur Aini Hadna, Ismiatin, Isrowianti, Irhamni, Miftahul Ulum, the certificate affairs, Eddie, the poster makers, Yazid, the network system, Habib, the host and screens affairs, Rini, Adilvia, Yuna, Ani, the question and answer teams, Hasan, Mas Opan, Mas Minto, and all UIN Suka library team who work side by side to solve any problem. I love you guys. I'm really grateful to have you as a team. Last but not the least, all participants from Indonesia, India, Pakistan, Korea, thank you so much for joining our international talk. Without you, this event never be the same. Thank you. thank you so much. Once again, congratulations Win Sunan Kalijaga Library, SLA Asia and APPTIS. See you on the next programs. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Prof to the end of the meeting. Before we end our meeting, we would like to say thank you for the Moderator, Kurniawaty, and speaker Dr. Edzan Nasir for the informative and the interesting talk. And to audience, thank you for the active participation. Hopefully, this Zoom meeting will be benefits for everybody. Please remember to fill the attendance form to get the e-test certificate with the registration key 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1. Once again, the registration key is 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1. Before we end this program, let's take some pictures together and make sure your camera is on. Don't forget to give your best smile. So the first slide, please take your camera on. 1, 2, 3, smile. For the second slide, 1, 2, 3, smile. For the third slide, 1, 2, 3, smile. And the last slide, 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you very much for joining us today. Have a nice day and see you on the next program. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Labibah. See you
Thank
ya.
you, Dr. Edzan. Thank you so much. See you next
Thank you,
year in
Pak.
Malaysia.
Nanti datang ke Malaysia ya bila keadaan sudah tenang.
Ya, mudah-mudahan tahun depan sudah nggak ada corona.
Insya Allah, insya Allah.
Amin. Tegak berdiri untuk masa depan.